Okay. It is 3:01 on August 28th, our first.
Hold on just a moment.
Okay.
Sorry.
You're okay.
Okay, we are live on YouTube now.
Okay. It is 3:01 on August 28th. It's our first SCR meeting of the semester, and I'm really excited to call it to order. We're going to start off with introductions because we have a lot of new people. So I can start. I'm the chair. My name is Megan Hess. I'm a senior student at Miami University, and I'm also the Secretary of Off-Campus Affairs in ASG. And just for ease, I'm going to pass it off to Andrew, and then we can go down the call list if you just want to say like your name and kind of like what capacity you're a part of SCRC for.
Okay, excellent. I'm Andrew Wilson with the City of Oxford Community Development Department. I'll be the staff liaison between the commission and the Oxford City Manager and other city staff. So with that, I'll pass it to Prue.
Hi, I'm Prue Dana. I'm a Mile Square resident and also representing the League of Women Voters. So I'll give my voter pitch in a little bit.
You know, Megan, it may be best to just, because the layouts change for everybody, if you just
call people out.
Yep.
Okay, sounds good. Matt, would you like to introduce yourself?
I sure would. I'm Matt Arbuckle. I'm new to the board, to the commission. I am a citizen member and I am on faculty at Miami University in the political science department. And yes, that's about it.
The next person on my list is Amy.
Hi, everybody. I'm Amy Masechko. I'm here representing Talawanda School District and the Coalition for a Healthy Community here in the Oxford area.
Emma Jewell.
Hi, everyone. I'm Emma. I'm representing the commuter student population, and I'm a senior at Miami.
Glenn.
Everybody, Glenn Ellerby. I'm on city council, 20-year resident. I work in enrollment management as administrative staff in IT. I'm also a faculty member in the College of Engineering and Computing and the business school.
Jennifer.
Hi, I am Jennifer Marston. I work at the Animal Care Clinic, and I am your Chamber of Commerce representative. I'm also in Kiwanis and the Lions Club.
And then Jonathan.
Hi, everyone. My name is Jonathan Shirley. I'm a resident and student at Miami University.
Josephine.
Hi, everyone. My name is Josephine Webb. I'm a resident and senior at Miami. I'm a shift supervisor at Starbucks Uptown, and I'm the president of Sigma Lambda Gamma, Miami's only multicultural sorority.
Joy.
Hi, everybody. My name is Joy Usner. I'm here as a resident, and I just want to say it's great to see so many new faces today. Welcome.
And then I have Kendall.
Hello, everyone. My name is Kendall Fletcher. I'm a resident as well as a senior at Miami, and I'm the president of the National Panhellenic Council, which makes up Miami's Tri-Council.
And then I have Laura.
Laura Fenning. I work with the police department and I've been here for a lot of years. And I'm in charge of community outreach, which is why I'm the liaison with SCRC. And anything that anybody needs for any other group, I would be the person to contact.
Lena.
Everyone, my name is Lena and I am a student and a resident at Miami University. I represent the international student body at Miami University.
Megan.
Hi everyone, I'm Megan Schottler and I'm representing the Graduate Student Association. I'm a fourth year PhD candidate in the English department.
Molly.
Hi everyone, my name is Molly McNamara. I am the Pan-Hellenic president at Miami, and which also makes up the Tri-Council. And I'm also a student. I reside in Oxford during the school year, and I'm a senior.
Sidra.
Hi everyone, I'm a second year student at Miami University and I'm representing the student body.
And then Steve.
I'm Steve Schnabel, a 35-year resident, and for the past 3 years, I've also been the executive director at Oxford Seniors. I also sit on the city's Housing Advisory Commission.
And then last but not least, I believe, Zoe.
I'm a senior political science major at Miami, and I am also the president of Diversity Affairs Council.
Awesome. So I don't think I missed anybody.
We have 2 more people.
So real quick, Andy Rosenberger, he texted me. So
okay,
having technical issues. He says he tried to call on the meeting, but the meeting says it hasn't started. He says he can see and listen, but he has no way to communicate except through me. And so I don't know, he's having video and microphone issues, so he's going to keep trying. So if you need anything through him, I can at least communicate.
Okay, thank you. And then I see Kathy also. I don't know if similar issues are occurring. Okay, I guess we'll just keep trucking along here then. So the next thing on our agenda is the approval of the agenda. So everybody in favor of approving the agenda could just say aye.
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 Okay. And then do I hear a motion to approve the minutes from our last special meeting?
So moved.
And a second.
Second.
Everybody in favor, please say aye.
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 Anyone opposed? Okay, awesome. So we're gonna move on to our report from OPD, but I just wanted to remind everybody that later in the meeting, we do have time allocated to discuss specifically improving off-campus behavior and community health and wellness. So if there's anything you would like to discuss as far as like areas of improvement or problem solving, especially regarding the ordinance, let's just save that for that time. And with that, I'll hand it over.
Well, I'm sure everybody's looking forward to this. So it's been an unusual start, obviously, very, in some ways, anticlimactic. It's been, let's just say, alcohol violations, not very many at all. But that doesn't mean that there hasn't been. It just means enforcement hasn't been there, I think. So let's just say where we might go to a party previously and people would scatter because of alcohol violations. They're scattering now because they don't have masks. And so the priorities are just different now. Plenty of litter violations. And so, for instance, the latest is like 31 litter violations, 24 noise violations, only 3 disorderly conduct violations, and 6 liquor or underage alcohol violations. I checked out the last 3 weeks of offense reports, and it's just a wide variety. There's no consistencies. We've got some thefts and stuff, but nothing consistent. Just in most recent days, some bike thefts, but otherwise, typical, some typical beginning of year behavior as far as thefts, as far as noise and litter. That is typical. Let's not forget that. And we have some new ordinances that are on the books that that are brand new. And so we are doing a lot of educating.
Do you mind if I ask? I did see the Miami student article that right now you are focusing on kind of like education for the enforcement of the mass ordinance, and it's kind of going through the education system right now. Is that philosophy gonna change at any point, or where's like the mindset with that at the moment?
I'll have to read that article. Was I quoted
Okay.
in that?
Yeah, I think you were name dropped. Yes.
Okay. I'll have to go read that and see what they said. I think that before I really comment on what the article said, because sometimes what I say and what is reported are two different things. So what I told the reporter was that education is a priority and has been a priority for these weeks that they've been here. It doesn't mean that enforcement doesn't come along with it, but along hand in hand, oftentimes with enforcing a party is education. So while we have 31 litter violations and 24 noise violations, oftentimes there will also be education on gatherings. And so there's oftentimes a very inquisitive nature from, if you want to say it's the students, I'm going to say it's the students in this particular case, that they don't quite understand the ordinances. They don't quite understand how they fit, how their situation fits into the ordinance. So many situations are different. They may have a house that fits a lot of people, and they may have a boyfriend over or girlfriend over, and every situation is a little bit different. And so we kind of walk them through that. So 99.5% of the time, they're not being disrespectful. They're being inquisitive and hungry for information. And so that it's a good conversation. It's not an in-your-face conversation or a battle of wills conversation between law enforcement and citizenry. It's a good one. And I'm not saying, and it's most of the time it's not repeat offenders, if you want to call them offenders. It's not visiting the same houses over and over again. So I think that they're learning from it. They're learning how to guide their particular situation with the people that they have and the circumstances that they have. So there's a learning curve, and I believe that they should be given the benefit of the doubt of learning. Just that's my personal opinion, and I think that's most of us. We don't want to come down with a hammer when a household doesn't know how to handle a situation. You don't say, well, here's your $500 ticket. That'll teach you. Well, let's tell you how to handle it first, and then arm you with information, and then move from there. I think that's most of our officers, I would say all of our officers' mentality.
Okay. Thank you for clarifying, and thank you for all your hard work right now, because I know things are chaotic.
Yeah, you're welcome.
And if anybody has any questions, just want to check before I move on to the next item. Okay, which is the MEPD report, which I guess will be relayed through you as well. Yeah, okay, thank you.
I need these glasses just for looks, because I think they look good. Okay, hang on a second. Andy says, nothing new to report. We are keeping a close eye on students in quarantine and monitoring daily. We're also working with OPD and helping track parties or encounters with large gatherings with no masks. I know that from one of our staff meetings the other day that MUPD has been shadowing some of our parties that we've been dispatched to, and just kind of like information gathering. Not that they've been dealing with the parties, but they've been kind of assessing what we have been observing. So they kind of like do their own tally and stuff, and then kind of confirm that information with us, I think. And it says, I agree with everything that you are saying, that we are educating them as well. So I think we're kind of on the same page there.
Okay, awesome. Any questions before I move on? Okay. So just a quick update on the walkabout. Obviously, traditional walkabout isn't happening this year for coronavirus precautions. We're not going to door to door. Our alternative solution for that has been distributing the off-campus living information through farmers market tabling. So ASG will have a table at the Uptown Farmers Market every Saturday. And that's also how we are distributing masks that the university has provided to off-campus students. So that's the update on that. I don't know if anybody, if anybody has suggestions for how else we can make sure that we reach students with that information. Feel free to reach out or pipe up now, I guess. So.
Megan, one thing I might suggest is an occasional table at Kroger.
Okay, yeah, I like that idea. I can definitely reach out to somebody about that. Thanks, Steve.
Yeah, if they will allow you to do it.
Mm-hmm.
I know
yes.
We have a voter registration table at Kroger's, and we were denied.
Okay.
So you have to ask permission first.
Right, yes. Can't hurt to ask for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Students, do you have any input on that, on what you would like to see or how you might best get that information?
That's every Saturday.
Can
you hear me?
I can hear you a little. I don't know if that's just on my end.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, you said that's every Saturday?
Every Saturday, 9 to 12 is the market.
Exactly.
Maybe it might be helpful to send it to different apartment complexes for them to send it out in whatever emails they may send.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. Yeah, I can also reach out about that.
So Megan, I was also going to add, we also have a box at the Armstrong Information Desk of mask, and we're going to put one at the health center as well too. And to follow up on what Kendall said, we did reach out to a few apartment complexes that didn't. They were a little nervous about handing out mask or liability or stuff like that. So we could try again, but I did reach out to a few that had some concerns about that. So we just decided to do it that way. And I apologize for being late.
Okay, if that's all, we can move on to new business, basically, because there wasn't any old business. So I've come up with a few things that I think would be good goals and focuses for the commission. And of course, I want to start by getting everybody's input on that and what the scope of that will look like throughout the year. As a reminder, we discussed, I think in our last meeting, last academic year, that we would like to kind of focus our time 50-50 between coronavirus considerations and other initiatives. And so that's kind of, I guess, the background for how I've identified some of these things. But of course, I want to hear everybody's input. So the first thing is supporting locally owned businesses. I think this is a good goal for us because, obviously there are additional obstacles right now keeping businesses healthy because of the pandemic. But also I would love to see some long-term systems put into place for promoting student support for locally owned businesses that extends beyond just coronavirus and the pandemic. So with that being said, I would love to hear everybody's input on what they would like to see that look like, I guess. or if you think that that's a good goal for the year.
Well, as a longtime town resident, I think it's a really great goal because there are lots of community services within walking distance and or within bus instances. So I know that the businesses are really happy to see all of the students come back. And so they would be very appreciative. So think about what it is that you need to do that's not in your academic side, and think of a place that you might do that in the town area. You are all seniors, which you have a tremendous amount of knowledge among all of you. And the object is to get everything that you know down to the junior, sophomore, and freshman students too. Where to eat, where to get something repaired, where to buy different things. I imagine the Visitors Bureau and the Chamber really do have a lot of resources too.
This is making me think of some of the great social media, like by Enjoy Oxford, like on Instagram. I wonder if that, like if we could direct students to, like that's a possible social media account to follow. Because I know, like I've lived here, this is my 5th year, but I'm still learning about new local businesses from following that account.
I want to echo those things, and you know, I understand that more and more there are businesses that are on campus that mirror a lot of the small businesses in town. And I realize that it could be a walk in some cases, but if we want the community to remain vital, we really do need to encourage the students to come to the small businesses in town as frequently as possible. And so, Jennifer, I wonder if maybe Chamber could create some kind of a bingo game, or you know, some kind of a passport to businesses thing, where to encourage people to go into local businesses where they would get a stamp of some sort on this thing, and if they get so many, I think they did this during the summer maybe, but it would be specifically for Miami students, and then would go into a drawing for, I don't know, maybe some of the gift cards that the city has. We could find a way to purchase some of those for the prizes, etc.
I was thinking they could put together coupon books, maybe for specifically student-centered, student-focused, student-targeted. Distribute them in Armstrong, and maybe the dorms if they open up, and just give them students a financial incentive to shop at local businesses.
Hey, Steve. I was just going to follow up on what you just said. So you're talking about a program a lot like the donut trail, where the local businesses all have a secret code that you write into your passport, and then you turn that passport in at, let's say, Enjoy Oxford, and like every week or every month there's a drawing of those people that have those passports turned in, and then they get X amount of gift cards from participating businesses. Something like that.
Something like that, yeah.
I'll have to bring that up. You know, I'll have to talk to Jessica or Kim and see if we can't make that work.
We're actually working on both of those
There was something
ideas.
that Kim created for incoming students, and I don't know all the details on it or how it's going to work, but it was sort of, you know, hunt style. I think it was more designed though to be done like over a week, but maybe that could be modified to be a longer period of time and opened up to all students.
You were saying, Jennifer?
We're working on a couple different things. So we are working on both a passport type thing and a hunt, because we did a hunt the beginning of last year. The last couple of years we did a hunt. It was just like a one-day, mostly for freshmen and international students. But we wanted to make that bigger. And then the coupon type thing, we're working on that. We are working on couple different things already. So they're already in the works. So we're looking forward to that. Our marketing team has got some stuff going on. We're revamping our website. That's costing a little bit of money, and that's sort of put on hold because we don't have a lot of income right now. Businesses have been hurt by the pandemic, so they're not turning their dues in. So we're kind of on hold with that.
So I kind of have two follow-up questions about this idea. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Zoe.
Could I add to what she was saying before first?
Absolutely.
So I think students, there's just a lack of like awareness and consciousness of the economic impact that we have on the community. And so I think anything we can do to encourage students is great. And I think a great way to do that, I love the passport idea, but also social media is where students get their information. They don't really check other sites. They don't go and look at things. If it's social media and it pops up or someone shares it, that's how they see it.
Yeah, that's actually a good lead into what I was starting to say. I was going to ask, you know, what are the #1 ways that we could support students like knowing about this? Because I know that a lot of students are more likely to follow like an ASG account that's student led than maybe like an Oxford account. And so I would love to know like how we can work collaboratively to make sure that that's a successful initiative.
Hey, sorry about that. Hey, Megan, have you spoken with Jessica as far as being able to feed social media content to any ASG accounts?
We've spoken a little bit, yes.
Because she would probably be, or her and Kim from Enjoy Oxford would be the two people that you want to talk to as far as just getting Oxford content delivered to whoever controls the ASG social medias so that they can put those out.
Yeah, I'll set up a meeting with myself, our communications secretary, and Jessica to talk about specifics.
Yeah,
and then
I was going to say, if you need anything else, just let me know. I can work it out.
Great. And then my second question is, you know, I think under ordinary circumstances, all these ideas are slam dunks, but do we need to be concerned about a wave of groups of students going to the same businesses at the same time and being able to maintain like social distancing with that kind of system?
I think something that could be useful is, and I know this is something I've talked to my own friends about when or if we come back on campus, is for those businesses that are able to deliver like any food business, if there was some kind of coupon book or something, is there a way that if you go to the business in person, you can get a sticker with your order or whatever, but if it's delivered, like some kind of sticker that would be put in your little bingo card could be delivered with it. So students that are concerned about infecting themselves or infecting business owners could also be entered into this kind of incentive while also supporting local businesses and keeping safe at the same time.
Yeah, I think that's really good feedback. Is that doable, Jennifer, based on what you already have planned?
Yeah, I think that's a really good point.
That's a great idea.
And it may all be electronic. We might be able to do something where it's all electronic.
Awesome.
I have a question. Is the gift card program still in effect? Okay, maybe we could do a push for that. I know that when I came here freshman year, like my aunts and uncles wanted to send me stuff. If they knew like of the gift card program, maybe they would probably would have bought some gift cards for me for local businesses to use when I did arrive. And then in terms of like social media, I think that we should try to make it interactive and like student to student. So maybe you could have like, for example, like someone could do a takeover of their day and like they start out, they go to Kafenya in the morning, and then like for lunch they go to Bodega, and then for dinner they go to another restaurant, and just take over this Enjoy Oxford social media or like Miami OH student life. Or I could do something on the Panhellenic Instagram as well if that's something we would be interested in, but just to follow through their day. And I know some sororities have been doing like here's my favorite place to eat in Oxford and that sort of thing. But if we could get it to like a bigger platform, because I'm not sure that incoming students are following the accounts yet.
Yeah, I think the parents and alumni point is really good. I didn't really think of that as another audience to reach out to, but I like that idea personally as well.
I was gonna say with that, there are like parents' Facebook pages that a lot of parents follow very religiously. So I don't know who the person would be to contact, but if we could get that up on the parent pages, I think that would definitely help push things out.
So adding to that, Zoe, it's Mark Pontius. So we could reach out to him and ask if he could post something on the Facebook. It could be kind of an alternative to a care package this semester. Buy your student gift cards.
So there's one problem that I see with that particular route. And that's currently we're talking about Oxford area businesses and having that go through a Miami account. So if you do ask him and it works out, that would be awesome. But I have a feeling you might run into some resistance due to the fact that Miami would prefer to market their own products than they would area businesses. So again, that's why if you're talking about just Oxford-based services and shops and businesses, you would most likely want to go with Jessica and Kim and have posts be through them or through another one of those kinds of pages onto those alumni Facebooks and parent Facebooks and things like that. That's just in my anecdotal experience dealing with Miami and sending stuff through Miami as far as like a city type of deal. You might run into resistance. But if you have your own like Panhandle stuff or any kind of Greek stuff or your own student life accounts and you know who runs those, just go straight to them and we can try to get some content for you.
As a note, I have posted on because I am a parent of a student. So I'm on that parents page. Scott, your wife is
Laura beat me to the punch probably, but go ahead.
But I have posted about that too in, I don't know, I think maybe right when the students were coming about the gift cards, but we can always post again. Mark doesn't have to do it, but we can make another post about that.
Yeah.
No
I was gonna add exactly that, that actually there are parents, everybody's got parents. It might mean more coming from a parent to parent as opposed to that. So yes, while my wife is on there, Laura, I'm not. So yeah.
When the time is right, we can do it.
Laura, I've seen you post it before and it seems like it's been well received by parents. So yeah, I like that idea.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. There are two stakeholders I kind of want to call out here. So one is Emma. Do you think that these solutions work equally for commuter students? And are there any like additional considerations that we can take to encourage commuters to spend time in Oxford and spend money in Oxford?
Yeah, from what I've seen, most commuter students are avoiding Oxford as much as possible unless they have a student worker job. But as far as like most of my friends chose the remote option. So I don't know if they are like going to be part of the target audience, unfortunately.
Right.
But as far as inclusion, I think the ones on campus love to eat at the Uptown restaurant. So sadly, I just don't see that.
Yeah. What about in regards to like more of a long-term perspective so that we can just maybe start keeping that in the back of our heads when hopefully things get back to normal soon, if there are options at that point?
Yeah, so I actually run a Canvas page for all commuter students. So I think it would be great if I just add something about Uptown and supporting local businesses to that. And I can even send out an announcement for long term.
Yeah, that sounds awesome to me.
Okay.
And then the second person is Molly, because I know historically in the commission, it's come up before the opportunities for like bulk orders basically through like Greek life. And if there are any specific steps that we could take to leverage that specifically?
What would we be bulk ordering? The gift cards?
Like, I think we've discussed previously more along the lines of like, you have all these events that require like food for a lot of people, you know what I mean? And so getting, I think, you know, sometimes cost becomes a factor in those situations. And so maybe, you know, locally owned businesses get, I don't know, priced out sometimes, or maybe students just don't know what the large order options are from a smaller business, more along those lines. Someone can clarify better if I'm not saying that correctly.
I think I know what you're talking about. And yeah, I think that for the most part, we see people ordering from like SDS, those extra large party pizzas, and then Skippers, because they know that they do catering and they know that it serves a lot of people. But if we could educate on the different options that other businesses do for catering, and then maybe we could try to create some sort of partnership in that regard. Because yeah, I just think that people don't know who else does catering for like short-term, like one-time events.
Molly, I think that's really a good point. And there are a number of places that will do that I can think of. And I've lost my thinking anyway, but maybe Chamber could put together a list of the restaurants that have catering available to them, and some of the ideas of, you know, how much in advance you need to do it, so that there would be more. And I love that idea.
So I want to jump in and request something else on the Panhandle side of things. So if organizations are going to have events where they're ordering large amounts of whatever from the local businesses, if you can actually buy the gift cards and then pay for whatever you're buying with those gift cards, that would help the city out a lot. Because I'm on the CIC, the Community Improvement Commission, and we developed that program, and we're just trying to get those gift cards moved as much as we can. And I know that you guys are going to be buying stuff. So if you can buy the gift cards and then purchase whatever you're going to do that with those gift cards, even after you've already calculated how much you're going to spend or whatever, that'd be a big help to the city.
So I wanted to throw out two things. First, I think it would be important to get Kindle's input here, because NPHC also does large events. And then just from the perspective of DAC, when we do our larger events, it's hard to use catering from Oxford businesses. And part of the reason is Miami, because when you host on-campus events, you typically are required to use Miami catering.
I definitely agree with Zoe about, because we host a lot of things on campus. So we can't, when we do our larger events, whether if it's like Step Show or something like that, we would have to book through Miami catering.
Well, and can I just point out that this is a frustration that I think always exists, and I believe this is the only commission that helps the students to understand how frustrating it can be to be in the community sometime and have to live with Miami's patriarchal decisions that don't necessarily take the community into account very friendly. So just a bad opinion. Thanks.
I had something to add. So I think one challenge with the whole catering option might be distributing that if events are limited to 10 or less people, it might be more difficult to get that out. And you don't want to have to worry about if one person somehow had COVID and then hands out 50 different items to other people. That might be a really big problem. So I think one thing that might be better, and I've noticed a couple local businesses have done this well, is there's a lot of students who are in Oxford that are almost entirely virtual with classes, meetings, etc. And they're just kind of wanting to get out and go do something. And I've noticed a couple businesses hosted like study tables, game night, just to get you out of the house. And then while you're there, you spend money. And I think that just helping those businesses come up with, creative ideas might be a good way to go, because I think if large swarms of people go to certain businesses or large orders are put in, it might encourage people to break that 10-person order, and it might cause a lot of spreading of the virus.
Yeah. I think that's a good point, but I am going to force us to move on. We'll have plenty of time the rest of the year to continue to talk about these things, and I'll follow up with everybody as appropriate on the action items that we discussed. But I know that you guys are going to want to have a good conversation about community health and wellness and what that's looking like right now. I thought I would just start off by giving my most recent updates, and we can kind of fill in the gaps because we haven't met for a while, so I don't know where everybody's operating on information. There are 128 positive tests on Oxford campus. We're getting Abbott machines next week, which are the rapid portable testing things that you can get in 30 minutes. And I've been told that has equivalent accuracy to the normal PCR tests. And then as of Wednesday, I don't know how this might have changed, there are 100 students going through the code of conduct system for coronavirus violations around there. And students that are hosting parties that are greater than the 10 cap are gonna be up for suspension. So with that, I don't know if anybody else would like to kind of give an update before we discuss improving off-campus behavior and things of that nature.
I'm happy to hear the update, so thank you.
Mm-hmm. So if there are no other updates, I know everybody, yeah, Scott, go ahead.
Megan, I'll give one more. Although
okay.
At 4 o'clock, a group of us are meeting with, I believe, a group of with the IFC presidents. Honestly, I was trying to, did she, where we go? I don't think it's Panhellenic, but we're meeting with attorney presidents at 4 o'clock to talk about how we improve some things we've seen the last week as well.
Okay.
Yeah, additionally, oh, sorry.
Go ahead, sorry.
So Miami just sent out an email. They're going to be doing batch testing, basically. It looks like, I just opened it because I saw it was about COVID, so I figured that was relevant, but it says wide net and surveillance testing. So basically they're going to be emailing students and saying you need to take a test, and then that group of students will get tested, even if they haven't technically been in contact with someone they know is positive or had symptoms, is my understanding.
And Zoe, so to go off what Megan said, so that we're able to do that with those 15 machines that Megan talked about earlier ago. So my understanding of the surveillance testing is it's going to give us the ability to hopefully find a hot spot or an outbreak before it spreads past that point.
That's great to hear, because I've been hearing about students getting turned away from student health services with symptoms recently. So I'm really happy to hear that they're finally getting that infrastructure in place, even though it's a little long overdue.
Mm-hmm. Steve, did I see you trying to jump in there?
Yeah, just to say that last night I read an interesting Facebook post from Mayor Mike Smith, and one of the points that I thought was so important was that he really asked for people to wear masks on High Street. So it kind of goes back to, I don't know what his distribution is, and I really felt that that was a message that was aimed not only at us residents and visitors to town, but to students, and I don't know how it could be spread to students, but that was just an excellent example. And then we had dinner last night on the patio at Left Field, and a group of guys came in, and the group kept getting larger. They were all with the same fraternity and enjoying a nice time together, but I'm really unclear about what the regulations are. At a restaurant, is more than 10 people at a table or in a corner, even outside? Is that not? I mean, is that inappropriate? It's really unclear.
Okay.
Well, my daughter works at Buffalo Wild Wings and they can't have more than 10 people at a table. I mean, they actually put 6 at a table and that's all that they want.
So Steve, and I'm not the expert on this, but how it was explained to me was that 10 is the number. So if you were to go into Gaslight, there might be 100, there might be 60 people in there, but there's not a group larger than 10 within 6 feet of each other. So that's how that was explained to me probably about 10 days ago. So I'm assuming that that's still the mode. So if you wanted to go in with 11 people to Gaslight, they wouldn't let you sit 11 people at a table. Yeah.
That's what I thought.
As far as just getting those kinds of updates out there, as was previously mentioned, social media is always the go-to. I will communicate all these things to our communications secretary, and we have so many student stakeholders in this group now that if everybody just reposts it, I think that's, Glenn, go ahead, sorry.
I just want to defer my time to Laura because it looked like she wanted to say something, but then she just decided against it. So never mind.
Okay, I was just saying that we, at a minimum, just these people in this room can accomplish that much sharing of information. So
all I was going to suggest is that the ordinance is fairly simple, and all I was going to suggest to Steve is that just go read the ordinance. Like if you have any questions, go read the ordinance and don't rely on word of mouth.
And where do I easily find it?
Well, I'll email it to you if you want, but I would just go to the city website.
Probably on the city
website. The main page.
Mm-hmm.
Fees, ordinances, and charter. It was the most recent one that we passed.
And it might be on the, could it be on the main, it might be on the main page too.
Yeah, I looked at it recently and I don't remember what exactly the link is, but I did not find it difficult to find. It's pretty visible.
The problem, like the thing is students know about it. The information's been spread by the school. It's been spread by multiple students. The information's out there, they're just choosing not to follow it. So I think it's now looking at what else can we do in addition to just spreading the information.
Hey, Megan, what section are we on right now of the agenda?
So this is under improving off-campus behavior for community health and wellness.
All right, so I'll just go ahead and say this thing, but I need to click on, hold on a second. Actually, I had to I hold down my space bar to talk so I don't have to do that kind of stuff. So here we go. I know that a majority or not, there's a group and it's a large group. I don't know if it's the majority of the students here on campus, but I've seen this trend happening over the past, we'll say 5 or 6 years. When I was a student here and we had any kind of issue, whether it was like house parties or binge drinking or like all the standard stuff that Miami's had to deal with, we actually respected each other's spaces and property and other things like that. And now I've seen within like the past 5 years or so, it's almost a game between certain groups of people about who can care the least. So like they go to house parties and they'll trash whoever is hosting that party's place and then go somewhere else and be like, they got to deal with it. I don't need to deal with that. And like they, you know, relationships like that, they'll say some wild things just to get rises out of people and just walk away as though there's no lasting consequences with this. And now I'm starting to see it with, you know, these masks and like the ordinances that we've tried to put in place, because we know that there's a contingent of people that just don't care. And the problem with not caring by yourself is if you're in a vacuum, great. You can do you, you're an adult, do whatever you need to do. But you not caring right now hurts other people. It's like secondhand smoke, you know, like people were smoking and they're like, well, I'm only hurting myself. It's like, no, that's not true. Secondhand smoke actually affects other people. Laws got passed. Secondhand smoke doesn't exist in certain cities or certain states. Like if you go to Indiana or you go to Kentucky and you go inside of a restaurant, you know immediately the difference. And it's trying to get the student population to understand that that decision isn't just for them, it's for everyone else. And I'll tell you guys right now, I had COVID. It's not necessarily fun. You lose your sense of taste and smell. It kind of sucks. And I had like a very easy case of it. But, you know, these guys that are running around here saying, you know, I'm young, I'm healthy, it's not going to hurt me. It might not. But they don't understand that if they go to Kroger and they go by somebody else who's like 65, 70 years old, it may affect them in a lethal fashion. Or if they're going uptown and they don't have masks on, those optics make it look like the residents no longer can go out there because if they're immune compromised or if they have children or something like that, or they're living with elderly people, they can't run the risk of going uptown and interacting with our uptown businesses, because if they get it and don't know it and then bring it back to their family, they may have a serious issue. And, you know, students are here for a limited amount of time. They're kind of like leasing their time here, but there are residents that are here permanently and it can have lasting consequences. Plus, I don't know about you, but even if it is 1 in 1,000 chance that I die, I still didn't want to roll those dice, even though I rolled the dice, you know, so, and I came out fine, but it's one of those deals where you really don't want to roll that. Like you want to stay away from it. And the best way of doing that is knowing who you're hanging out with and knowing where they normally go, trying to stay in as limited groups as possible. And most importantly, it's just wearing a mask. That's pretty much it. It's just trying to get that out and getting that out in a way that can get absorbed into those people's brains that don't care. And that's the hard part.
Really quickly, I would love to get kind of like a sample from the students of what, I know that none of the people in this group are the people that are breaking the precautions, but what have you heard anecdotally for the students that aren't following the guidelines, like why that's happening? Like what do we think the general like mindset is for that? Jonathan, yeah.
So I think the most popular, so I moved in the first week of July. So I've been here for a very long time. I think the mentality that has been put forth by a lot of the people who frequently go out, go to parties, hang out in large groups, kind of the biggest argument I've heard is two things. One, there's CDC data as to the survival rate for people 18 to 24 is 99.88%. I'm sorry, only 0.12% of COVID deaths have been in our age group. So I think a lot of people think, oh, okay, it's fine because I only hang out with people in our age group. And I think a lot of the students just don't think about every time they go to Kroger, every time they just go in public. So I think the more students are thinking about their interactions with other people outside of their own age group, the more aware they are of that, the more likely they would be to follow, because it's really hard to convince them that they're putting their own friends in danger, because they're all very likely to survive COVID if they got it.
A lot of the messaging that I've seen has been from students and why they follow the guidelines. So maybe it would be valuable to collaborate with the city and get like some of the residents to reach the students of like why they need us to follow the guidelines, you know? Steve, really quickly, because we do have one more thing that I need to get in before this is over.
I just wanted to say that there are bad examples amongst people who are not students. And I'm really disappointed about that. And unfortunately, I think a lot of it has to do with political viewpoint. And a lot of the junk that is going on in the media, Remember, we don't just have people who live inside Oxford who come here every day. We have people from rural communities who are used to being very self-sufficient. And, you know, anyway, I won't try to stereotype.
Well, we'll circle back to this topic in our subsequent meetings. I do want to just use the last 5 minutes to have kind of like an open floor opportunity of what other goals the commission would like to see us focus on for the year.
Oh,
Because
good.
I didn't want to put everything set in stone. Go ahead.
I have one. This is from the League of Women Voters. Next Monday night, the 31st, we are going to have a discussion and a presentation online with the Police Community Relations and Review Commission. And the Chief of Police is going to be there, John Jones, and we're going to talk about policing in and around the Oxford area. So I'm sure that a lot of students would be interested in how that's going, what it is, and there's a panel. And look up League of Women Voters and the Police Community Relations. It's going to be one of our biggest meetings, I think.
Okay, great. I think that would be, a lot of students would be interested in listening to that. So thank you.
No, it's on the web.
Okay, awesome. Students, would you like to share something that you would like to see us focus on?
So one of the concerns that I've heard from a lot of students about Uptown and Oxford in general is a lot of sustainability issues, as far as like lack of recycling bins uptown. Someone that I know who's really into sustainability like talked to me a lot about all of the different things, but I didn't retain a lot of it because there's a lot of information at once, so it'd have to be something I looked into further. But I think especially since there are so many students who aren't coming back this semester, having this kind of space in the upcoming year to work on these changes could be a good welcome back. Here are some sustainable changes we've made, especially since I think climate change and sustainability altogether has kind of made it in a lot of media and a lot of headlines. It's something a lot of people are caring more about now.
And
I was going to add accessibility.
That's another thing that the League of Women Voters is working on, and the City of Oxford is working on sustainability in everything that we do.
Zoe, did you have something to add?
Yeah, I was gonna.
Okay.
Accessibility. Uptown just isn't accessible. It's not accessible for disabled students. It's not accessible for disabled residents. You know, lots of students with visual impairments still can't read menus uptown because they aren't in accessible formats. You know, just basic things like that that can easily be changed to create an environment where more students are going to go uptown and use those, use that area and go to those businesses, and to make it more accessible for community members as well.
Mm-hmm.
So to talk about a solution regarding the two concerns that were just brought up. Last year, there was an initiative called the Business Improvement District, and it was going to be kind of like an HOA for the businesses, to where they pay a small amount of money per month, and then there is sustainability that could be provided to the Uptown District, as well as addressing some of those accessibility concerns, because you know, you got 15 businesses uptown that have to develop their own thing. They're going to have to expend the same out-of-pocket type of deal. If they can pull their money together and have one company do that for all of them, it saves some money there, as well as the sustainability thing. Like there's 2 recycling dumpsters currently in our Uptown Business District that are being paid for by individual businesses that a bunch of people use, and they're upset about it because they're like, why are we paying this full freight and other people are doing that? So what I think we need to do is, if this is going to be one of those kinds of initiatives, we'll need to talk to another commission, which is the Community Improvement Commission, about that.
Okay. I want to be respectful of everybody's time, and we've reached 4 o'clock, but if you have any other suggestions, please feel to reach out to me, and then we can kind of finalize what we would like this 3rd goal to be in next meeting, if that sounds okay to everybody. And with that, do I hear motion to adjourn?
So move, Steve.
In a second.
Second.
All in favor, please say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any nays? Okay. Thanks, guys, so much. I
Very
really
good meeting,
appreciate.
Megan. Very good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
everybody, for contributing.
Thanks, Megan.
Have a good week, everyone.
Have a good one. Thanks, Megan.
Bye.